It is hard to believe that the Mexico-US border was just a line of dirt during the early 1900s, and now, in the 21st century, it stretches more than 1,969 miles. There are still sections that have yet to be fenced, and others with virtual fences that detect movement and will send patrol cars. My story, like many other immigrant stories, start off with my father looking for a better life for himself. This is the story that I lived through my eyes. I was born in Salt Lake City, Utah. When I was born, our family headed back to Los Angeles, where my father was working 6 to 7 days a week on the field, where most immigrants begin, until he decided to move back to Utah in 1992. My father began to work as an air cargo manager at the airport for 8 years of his life. I would remember not seeing him much for long periods of time, so I would beg my mom to let me go see him on his lunch break. To surprise him, my father came to the U.S. in 1982 illegally. At the age of 14, he continued to visit Mexico throughout the years. This was possible because the immigration rules were not as strict. He had known my mother from an early age since they grew up in the same small town. As the years went by, my father was able to get his residency in the U.S. in 1989. He decided to take the leap of faith and asked my mother to come with him to the U.S. My mother was 20 at the time when she decided to leave everything behind and make her new life in America. My mother arrived illegally, crossing through the deserts of Tijuana and arriving in San Diego. A year of dating proceeded. Then in 1990, they got married, and 8.5 months later, I was born. My mother was a maid taking care of children that were not her own, just to make a living for us. She did this for 11 years until she got her residency in 2001, which allowed her to choose a different occupation. This became easier for her to accomplish because me and my sister had started school. On September 11, 2001, it was not just the beginning of war on terrorism, but the beginning of a new immigration system that would make it twice as hard to let immigrants arrive to the U.S. legally. After 9/11, my father got laid off because at the time the government didn't want any residents nor illegal immigrants working for them. They wanted a more secure facility while knowing everyone that worked for them. My parents had to overcome difficult challenges like many other immigrants just to build a greater tomorrow for us. Adopting my baby brother after his father and mother got detained and deported back to Mexico was a difficult challenge for my family. It was a very eye-opening experience, especially when I had to visit the Mexican consulate and notice how many families, not just my own, were affected by immigration. No matter how I look at it, immigration has played a vital role in my life, and I would not change it for anything. This has made me realize how much immigration is needed in the U.S., and we should not make it difficult for immigrants to come to the U.S. to try and achieve the American dream. I have experienced plenty from the immigration system that will forever change my life for the better. It has made me grow and expand my mind in ways that has made me a better person, and I am glad that this is a part of me.